I've been fighting trying to maintain this audio stream that I've had since the beginning of me streaming computer clubs, and I've had so much trouble with it. I'm about ready to just give up with it, and this will just forever be a YouTube stream and a meet. It sure looks like it's working. I'm just quickly gonna see if it's still suffering from the same problems that I was having before. How are you doing, Irving?
Good morning, Scott.
Good morning.
I'm doing fine, thank you. I missed you last week because the internet was down in San Carlos.
Working. I'm giving up on that. I don't think I'm ever running an audio stream again unless I can find some new technology. That
you need a computer expert.
I know. Well, I'm also a cheap computer expert. I know for a fact that if I were to buy into a service, that I would not have the kinds of problems that I have. My problems exist from trying to do everything on the cheap.
We don't want you spending any money.
You're broken up.
If I'm breaking up at this point, Paul, it's probably wow, you're all fuzzy too. I wonder if it's your internet. Move around a little bit. Smile. Yeah, Paul, I think you're gone.
You talking to me? Hey, Scott.
Yes, Paul. How you doing?
Yeah.
I'm talking to the other Paul.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Good.
It's nice to have you join us.
You know, I can hardly hear you.
Yeah, it's really quiet. Is anybody else feeling that way? Is it really quiet?
No, you're clear with me, Scott.
Hey, Paul.
Scott, I think the more audio feed goes into this meeting, the worse the sound gets. Maybe you should mute everybody.
No, Paul, I think you're having internet problems on your end. Is everybody hearing Paul okay? Paul Gregory?
No, he's cutting out.
Yes, he's cutting out here too.
He sounds like he's in the tunnel. Tell him to go to audio.
I think he's right. Muting would be a good idea. Let's try that.
Not you, Scott.
I'm at 100%. I can't hardly hear anything.
That's interesting, Paul. I wonder why. Do you have a pair of headsets? Maybe put on a pair of headsets. Because everybody...
I've got
try a headset. They're great.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, everybody is reporting that the audio is clear. It might get a little choppy because I've been watching... Oh, I didn't realize I was still on that view. I've been watching my internet continually going up and down. And so I might get choppy at times, but it should be the right volume. If it's not the right volume, somebody please say something. But I think it's going... I've spent the last 2.5 hours testing this stuff, so I hope it's the right volume.
I'm going to go into details. I'll go away for a while.
Okay. Well, he's going into details. I'm not sure what that means. But hey, welcome. Welcome to the San Carlos Computer Club. I'm Scott Stimson with International Computer Solutions. And we are rolling. We're online as well as I'm recording. And we are in the same state as typical. We're on our, geez, is this the 14th week? 14th week of quarantine? And I just wanted to take a moment at the top here. I don't know if am I on this camera still? Good. And I just wanted to take a moment and just say a quick word to everyone out there that has been helping support my endeavors. It really makes a big difference. As you can imagine, work's a little light, and so the things you guys do to help me out, I really appreciate it, and my family really appreciates it. There is also other ways that you guys can help as part of our club community, and it doesn't involve money. I'm trying to get more exposure on the internet. And so what that would mean is that I need to get some likes and some thumbs up on some of the stuff that I do. And so I post a podcast of our meeting each week in iTunes, and it shows up as well in other podcatchers. And if you guys wouldn't mind going there and giving a review, that would help me a lot. It would give me some more exposure. And on YouTube, I know you guys have a Google account because we're talking right now. And if you could just go over to find our channel on YouTube and like and watch some of the videos, truthfully, you don't even have to watch them. You can just let them run in the background and the statistics would go up and they get shoved into the algorithm and it would create more exposure with what I'm doing in YouTube on people's front pages. And so if you guys could do some of that kind of stuff for me, that's as good as money. I'm trying to put something together here online, and those kinds of things would really contribute to it. So please, if at some point during the week you take a moment and search my stuff out and like the videos and podcasts, and if you're not subscribed to the club, if you're subscribed to it on YouTube, you'll get an announcement saying, hey, we've started up a video. I made a little video of helping Jim last week and put that out there. And if you're not subscribed to the club, you wouldn't have known it. Of course, you could be subscribed on Facebook and known it that way. But I'm just saying, those things are all helping me. So I feel lucky each week to be able to hang out with you guys and talk about stuff I love. And I just want to be able to keep doing it. And these are ways that you guys can help me keep doing it. Enough with that PSA. I've forgotten that my camera has got this mode that I turned on that every few minutes it swaps cameras. So if you're looking at the back of my head, I'm sorry about that. It's just something I forgot to turn off, and we're just going to live with it. I did set up a new camera view up here too. I do have some control over it. I can swap it when I want to. I just forget it's going to swap at some point. And I got a free camera here in case I ever need to point at something. I'll grab a phone and point at it. I hope our picture's clear, or clear enough. In typical club fashion, I have showed up with a few topics, but as always, this is a disorganized agenda. And so I'd be very happy to take any questions or comments or topics that you guys would like to address. Right now, if you do, why don't you take a moment, turn off your mic, and just let us know if there's something you want to address. I know Linda's... Go ahead, Maggie.
Turn off your mic?
I'm sorry, turn off your mute. Let me work on my language a bit. Unmute your mic. So that you can tell
I'm
our
gonna use my
group
headset.
what you're interested in.
I just bought IP Vanish because it had this incredible offer of $5 a month for life. So who could say no to that? Can you guys still hear me?
Yep, you sound good.
Yes.
Okay, I can hear you so much better now. Anyway, but I haven't completely set it up yet. It's working on my phone, but
So,
nowhere else. And I've been too lazy to get in a chat with them to figure out how to get it started, but I'll get to that.
hey, this is a VPN, right?
Right, IP Vanish. It's the one that Troy Point keeps recommending. And then I got an email from them with this incredible offer, $5 a month for life. So I took advantage of it.
Oh, all right. I
do have a question for you.
I've never used IP Vanish. Is there anybody else here? Hey, Jim's with us. Jim, we want to see you on camera this time.
Hey,
There he is.
yay, Jim.
All right. Welcome. So, has anybody used IP Vanish? I personally have not.
It gets highly recommended by Troy Point. And he claims that he has no interest in it. But my question about that is, can I have that running at the same time I have smart DNS running, or do I have to do one or the other?
Well, they're two different technologies. And so one may it may be redundant depending on how successful you are with IPVanish. But they quite literally are two different technologies. They one of those technologies, smart DNS, is capturing your DNS traffic, and when it recognizes a destination that it's supposed to be providing you service for, then it reroutes. Oh, hey, Judy's coming in. Hold on a second. You know what I should do is I should make one of you the host of this meeting, so that I don't have to say come in, come in, come in as people are coming in. Hi, Judy. So we were just talking about IPVanish and Smart DNS. And Smart DNS is a DNS redirector. It acts as your DNS. It acts as your phone book for the internet, so that when you go to look up a name address like CNN.com, you go to Smart DNS, it looks up CNN's number, and then sends you back the number. Now, Smart DNS isn't worried about CNN, but they're worried about Netflix, because that's why they've sold the service to you. Netflix, Hulu, Prime, those are the things that they're concentrating on. So when you look up Netflix using Smart DNS, it goes to the Smart DNS, the Internet Telephone Book, and it goes, we want them to go to a different number, one that we're in charge of. So it sends you back their server, and their server is streaming the Netflix for you. Now, it's a bit more complicated than that, but as far as we're concerned on this end, they're streaming that video from a different location to Netflix. So Netflix maintains this illusion that you're in the United States, whereas you're getting their feed from a different destination, if that makes sense. Now with IPVanish, in fact, before I go on to VPN, is everybody understanding how Smart DNS works? And I bet you could imagine some of the side effects of Smart DNS. The 90% of the time, your computer thinks you're in Mexico. Right? You go to Google, it's in Spanish. Right? You go to Yahoo, it's in Spanish. It's because Google, Yahoo, and the variety of sites that you might choose are not on the list of Smart DNS. If you're on their list of those things that they're selling you access to, then they're going to grab those addresses and redirect them. But if you're not on the list, you're in Mexico. So that's an advantage and a disadvantage. The advantage is that you don't have the overhead of a VPN. The disadvantage is you're not mimicking a U.S. signature from Mexico 100% of the time. And that's what a VPN allows you to do. So VPN allows you to create an encrypted channel from your end to their end. When you do that, there is no external way of identifying who or where you are. When you go to Netflix through a VPN, Netflix sees the other end as where you are and who you are. And so that traffic goes through this encrypted tunnel. We use the analogy of a tunnel because nothing can penetrate it as it's going from them to you. There's no way to monitor that and see where that traffic's going. But it's not an actual tunnel. That encrypted data is all over the internet, just like your regular data is. The difference is because it's encrypted, it can't be decrypted by anybody but your end. You're the one that encrypted it. So even though it can be touched It can be saved. In fact, that's what the U.S. government and lots of other governments do. They see these encrypted channels, and they start siphoning the data and putting it into their warehouse in Utah. Hey, Stanley's with us too. Hey, Paul, do you mind turning off your microphone? We're hearing your conversation in the background there. Or mute your microphone. So, even...
Mike was muted.
I'm sorry, I'm talking to the other Paul. The other Paul. I think the other Paul has run off to the bathroom. Paul, mute your microphone. Am I able to mute it? I guess I am. I didn't realize. Well, now there's a good reason to be in charge of the meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not really a tunnel. You are not protected from that data being collected. What you're protected by is that data being nonsense. Because it's encrypted, and we still don't have the ability to break the most, the encryption we use now, let me say that, the highest encryption we have now cannot be easily broken by the most sophisticated computers we have. That's why the Homeland Security, or the Department National Security, what am I trying to say? The NSA. That's why the NSA has so much money invested in computer technology, is because it's so difficult to decrypt. It's so very simple to encrypt. Some of the most rudimentary computers we have are able to successfully encrypt data, but it's the decrypting without the key that requires so much computer power. So what that means to us is that all that encryption requires a lot of overhead. It requires your computer to work harder. It requires more data. And there is no opportunity to get the data from another source point. You have to get it from the States. So that's why we always associate a VPN with slowing down your internet, is because of all that extra overhead that goes with it. Now, Maggie's question, I'm sorry to have taken so long on this, but Maggie's question was really, should I be using Smart DNS as well as VPN? It doesn't matter. Are they related? And that's why I've gone so far out on this topic, is that you can, they are somewhat related, and it might not be an advantage to use them both at the same time. I think that your advantages would come out of convenience. If Smart DNS isn't working, you can easily go to Smart DNS's account dashboard, and you can see if they're aware of it. If Netflix was working from the United States without a problem, all of a sudden today it's not working, you check Smart DNS, it says it's supposed to be working, you've restarted your router, it's still not working, you can report it to them. They'll have some ways of helping you. They may also have a oh, well, in your area it's not working right now, but it should be back up. This is one of the real advantages of Smart DNS, is that the onus is typically on them to get it working. That's what they're trying to sell you, is access to Netflix. If you don't have access to Netflix, they don't have a product to sell you. And so they've taken all that onus on them. A VPN, it's mimicking you in the United States, slows down your internet connection a little bit. If that's working for Netflix, that's also working for everything else. You look like you're in the United States to Google, Yahoo, Hulu, your bank, Social Security. That's a real advantage when you want it. But because we have internet connections like we do in Mexico, maybe you don't want the slowdown. Maybe you want the ease of turning it off and turning it on. And that would come with the VPN service, whether that's easy or not to do.
Can you
I
hear me? This is Stanley.
Stanley, you are really quiet. I would be very happy to hear what you have to say, but I can barely hear you.
Okay, I don't know how to get the volume up on this, but can you hear me better now?
Yeah, it's a little better. Everybody nod if you can hear Stanley.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, good. Real quick, like, I just figured out how to get on here, and I missed all of the conversation, but I did hear you talk about smart DNS. I think there are some private ones you could actually purchase. Is that correct?
Well, you're dependent on. I'm not sure what you mean by private. I'm sorry, Stanley. I'm trying to mull my mind over that question. I'm not sure what you mean as far as private.
Yeah, in other words, there's more than one DNS that you can use.
There's more than one
to,
smart DNS you could use. I mean, smart DNS is actually a name brand, and you're saying there's other ones out there. These are proxy DNSs.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm done. Listen, I just want to say hello, everybody. I'm learning how to. It took me 15 minutes to figure out how to sign on.
That's okay, Stanley. We're a very patient group, and every Saturday I tend to be sitting here in the meeting early trying to make this stuff work to get ready for you guys. So feel free to just jump into the meeting anytime. So anyway, I hope that answers that question. It seems to be an advantage to have access to both, and as of which, Smart DNS does sell VPNs as well. We've talked about a lot of these kinds of topics before, but I would just like to reiterate one last thing on this topic before we move on. Knowing that Smart DNS has VPNs, I look at it as a use case, whether that's a good idea or not. If I'm in Smart DNS and I'm interested in VPNs strictly for things like entertainment, Pandora, Netflix, Hulu, I think Smart DNS is probably the way to go. I think their VPN is probably the way to go. And just because it would you'd be tacking on a service to something you already have. If I was concerned about security, if I'm in Mexico and my business relies on me having a secure encrypted channel to their network, and let me reiterate, let me rephrase that. If I'm a small business, because a big business should have provided it to you, but if I'm a small business and I'm worried about security, then I think I would look for a VPN, and maybe I can use it for TV. But that would be a bonus, because my goal would be nobody can see me writing checks across the internet. Nobody can see me get into my bank account across the internet. Nobody can see me running my point of sale system in Alaska from Mexico. And that I would expect from a good secure VPN, one with a good reputation. The one that's easy for me to recommend without thinking is ExpressVPN. I've had a lot of experience with them. They have a good reputation for security. And the bonus is most of my experience with them here in town has been for people to use it for entertainment. So if you're worried about security and entertainment, I think Express is an easy recommendation. Linda, did you have something you wanted to add to this? Or you just have a look on your face like you have something you'd like to add?
No.
No? Okay.
I use VPN Unlimited.
Okay.
I bought it for $39 for lifetime.
VPN Unlimited.
One-time payment?
One-time payment, $39.
Wow.
They just had the deal on it again too. But I bought it, oh my gosh, probably 11 years ago when I moved to Mexico.
What's it called, Linda?
VPN Unlimited.
Well, you beat me. I thought $5 a month was a good one.
Yeah, $5 a month sounds really good. I'm really
Scott,
curious about that.
I'm sorry, Scott.
Oh, go
You've
ahead.
disappeared from my screen.
Oh,
Scott,
Yeah, that's not working.
yeah, there you are.
There you are. There you are.
Oh, this is what I was trying to do.
Okay,
I was trying to give you guys a group view, and I clicked
Me,
on the wrong thing.
Yeah,
Scott,
so where's your mother? She's not on, she doesn't have her picture on either.
She's too pretty for you
Okay.
guys this morning.
Oh,
hey, Scott,
he doesn't want us to see her.
Scott,
I'm on, I'm here. I'm listening. I have nothing to offer, especially hair. So I'm not on the video. And
so
your dad,
Scott,
Oh, I'm
your
sorry.
dad listening too, Scott.
Oh, good. Hey, Pop. I'm glad you
Scott,
guys are
can-
here. Go ahead. Somebody's asking. Judy, is that
Scott.
you asking a question?
Katie.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I had a horrible time getting into this meeting with Google, and it made me change my email address to get into my Gmail account,
Oh,
to get on this Google app, and now I can't send the email because it tells me that I need to re-enter my new password. But when I go to the place where it tells me to, I can't. Do I need to do this on another device other than my iPad?
You need to change your email address everywhere that you would have changed it. Did you have a...
No. Not my email address, my password.
Right. You needed to put in a new password. You couldn't remember your password. You're trying to get into the meet, and so you asked to change the
And
password.
it wouldn't refresh the password. So
Yeah.
Need to
So you would
change-
have to go to every one of your devices that uses that password. And
well, they all, because it's my Gmail account.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in
You
each
have to,
This was pretty annoying. I agree with whoever that was saying how difficult it was to get into this meeting.
well,
wow. I just clicked on the link and came right in.
yeah, Judy, I can't help but think that you had some security issue that was going on that forced you to change your password. Google typically
Right, because
doesn't
I
make you
couldn't
change passwords.
Password. So I downloaded the app and I clicked on it. Well, I downloaded the app and then I clicked on the link and then it asked me to sign in every single time with my Gmail account and my password.
Okay, well that is a thing with Google Meet. You have to have a Google account. But
Well, I do.
You do. You have to have a Google account. Nobody can get into this Meet without a Google account.
Well, I do. I've had a Gmail account for years. That's not the issue.
Yeah.
It's that every time I try and log in on the app to the Google Meet, I have to put in my Gmail email address and my password.
Yeah, it sounds like your
Every
device isn't saving that stuff. Like for
Okay.
example, I've got Meet installed on my Android device, and I just turn it on, and it's just there, and I just have to put in the Meet code.
yeah.
Well, now I've got to go in and change my passwords everywhere.
I didn't even have to put the code in, Scott. I clicked on your link in my email and came right up.
That's
Yeah.
really the beauty of doing it from the computer. If you use the
Yeah.
Chrome browser and you're in Gmail, you can just click on the link and it'll take you right to it. Meet.google.com, you would need the Meet code, but if you're all looking at our Meet right now, then up in the address bar has the Meet code, and it hasn't changed. In fact, let me this is what we were talking about me doing here. Let me do present now. Let's see this work.
Judy,
Yes.
you need to go in your Google account.
So right up here, can you guys hear me? I think I just lost audio. Well, there we go. Can you guys hear me? No, I've lost audio when I turned on this feature. That's bizarre. But all I was trying to do, if you can hear me, all I was trying to do was show the address up here. Oh. No, not muted.
Google Meets app requiring my Gmail email account and my password. So I had to go in and change it. So Linda, I'm in my Gmail accounts page.
So
you probably need to authenticate, and that's probably your problem.
oh.
So you
That's
probably, when you change your password, you need to authenticate and get the code on your cell phone or something.
Right, I got the code and I did that, but it still will not let me send email. It gives me a yes.
Judy, in your
Just
Meet
wait.
app, after you've signed into it, there is a 3 bars in the upper left-hand corner, that menu bar.
Yeah.
If you open that up, does it list your email account there? I don't know. Where am I right now? I'm trying to show you the screen of my phone on the screen of mine. So you would, if right up in the upper corner, there's a 3 bar menu button, and you'd hit that. Did I do it? Let me hit that, and it would list your email account. It would list your Gmail account.
No. Let me see. You're in settings, it looks like.
I'm in Meet. I'm in Google Meet.
Me too. I'm meet.google.com.
And then in mine, at least in the Android version, in the upper right-hand corner, there's a 3 bars. I hope people can see this on my screen. And you would hit that 3 bar menu. That's kind of like the more menu. It's actually called the hamburger menu.
Right.
And then on mine, it lists my accounts. You can see I've got more than one account in my phone. And that's all.
It does not list those on my iPad.
It doesn't list your account there?
No. So maybe I need to go in and look and see why.
Yeah, maybe it's a really Apple thing. Oh.
It could be.
Darn it. I need to get some Apple technology around me.
You do.
I do. In fact, I've recently had experiences where I fortunately had Apple customers at the same time. And so I was able to do testing between their equipment because my Apple equipment's so out of date it wouldn't do it. Well,
okay, I'm trying to. I fixed it. So here, let's see. I cannot send. So I can send mail with my iPhone, but I cannot do it with my iPad. It will not let me. Oh, cancel. I don't want them to use. Okay.
Well, Judy, if you want, we can.
The iPad does not.
We can get together after this meeting, and I can help you sort out what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I can't get it, I'll. Yeah.
It's in fact, for any of you guys out there having computer problems, we've switched to completely remote services. I've been using TeamViewer. It allows me access to your Windows, Mac, and Android devices. I'm not sure. Maybe there is if there's an iPhone version or an iPad version, it would give me access to that as well. But I've only used it on Android devices. But it would let me see your phone screen and set up things for you. You can follow it along. So if you guys find yourself in
my phone works great.
Say that again?
It's my phone is working great, but it's my iPad.
Well, you might check and see if there's a TeamViewer version, customer support version for the iPad, because it would probably give me the same experience, and it'd be like me looking over your shoulder and pointing things out to you. Does anybody have another topic they would like to bring to our meeting? I have a list of topics that I've had ongoing and running, and there was a couple of things here that I thought would be interesting. The most interesting topic of the day, I think, is a video that The Verge put together, an article and a video about 5G technology. And I recommend you guys at least take a look at the video. It's very straightforward. It addresses where we are right now with 5G technology. It addresses how far we will be by the end of the year. It addresses some of the unfounded conspiracy theories about health issues. The video shows you where 5G fits in the magnetic electric spectrum, the radio wave spectrum. It actually shows a range of spectrum and shows where you'll find 5G. It shows you where the dangerous levels are, what makes them dangerous, why cell phone technology has never proven to be dangerous. And so I'll put this link on our website so you guys at least check out the video. It's very easy to watch. There's an article that goes along with it, has some more information there if you want to get even deeper into it. But I think it's a good read and it's a good watch. It's got good information in it.
Okay, I have a question.
Certainly.
Okay, like the Ring doorbell and all these audio, all these other items, they only will accept 2G. Why?
Well, if you're talking about the Ring the Ring doorbell specifically, then the 2G you're talking about is the Wi-Fi, the 2.4G. You're not talking about the cell network, which we're talking, and this is very confusing. It's been very confusing in the industry and for all of us to understand what's going on. We've talked about it a bit, is that Wi-Fi has about to have 3 standards for radio waves. And one of those standards is 5G. And it has nothing to do with 5G cellular, just has the same name. And so when you're looking at these products, like the Ring doorbell, and it says it's only like 2.4G, it's really referring to Wi-Fi. It has nothing to do with cell technology.
I think G stands for generation, and it can be applied to anything.
Well, actually, Paul, thank you for making that distinction, because in the Wi-Fi world, that's not the case. The G stands for gigahertz. And so in the Wi-Fi world, we have 2.4 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz, and 5.4 gigahertz. In the cell networks, we don't refer to them like that. We refer to them, like you said, as generations. I'm glad you said that because it actually helps make it even clearer. So when we're talking about cell phones, we're talking about 1st gen, 2nd gen, 3rd gen, 4th gen, and they're rolling out 5th gen, and they call it 5G. So the Ring doorbell question, it's moot. It's a whole different line of technology and has nothing to do with 5G cellular. And I think I need to make a rule to just call it 5th gen cellular so we know what we're talking about.
But the problem is you hook the Ring doorbell up with your phone.
Well, you do, but you do that through Bluetooth. Hey,
through Bluetooth.
Yeah, I've set up a lot of these Ring doorbells. They're awesome. And cameras as well. And this is really the new norm, is you have a mobile device handy. You walk over to the device. It could be a mesh network. Could be like the Google Wi-Fi. Could be like the Euros. You'd sent me a link to an Amazon deal with the Euros. And what you do is you walk over to the device with your mobile device and you use an app to set it up. And once it's set up, it's on the Wi-Fi network because that's part of the setup, and you no longer use the Bluetooth. The Bluetooth is a wireless cable to that device. Linda, you probably remember back in the day, I mean, and it's not too long ago, where you would go to a network, like a router needs to be set up, and you take it out of the box, you plug it in, you plug a cable from that into your laptop, you go to a web page, you start configuring the router. That's just not the paradigm anymore. The paradigm with all these new pieces of equipment are you set it up, you plug it in, you grab your mobile device, you download the app for the device you're setting up, you run through the setup on your mobile device, and then it's set up and ready to go, and you walk away from it. Bluetooth's no longer needed at that point.
Okay, I have a problem at my house because I have an AT&T cell phone, and you can't get AT&T in the house.
Well, you don't need cell service to set up the device. In fact, you could use a tablet to set up the device.
Okay.
What you need in your case, are you setting up Ring? Is that the question? Are you setting up Ring?
I set up Ring, but the problem is I had to put in that's why I'm thinking about getting an Arrow here in this house, because I put in a extender.
Okay.
And the problem is, like the last time we went out, the internet went down, and then the extender went down and never came back up. And then I lost the doorbell.
The extender went down. Yes, that's a real problem.
Shouldn't it switch over to my cell phone?
No. If your extender goes down, your Ring has lost access to your Wi-Fi network. The Ring only works on the Wi-Fi network. And so your solution, adding a mesh network is a good idea. Because anything that's interfering with your Wi-Fi connection to that device is going to cause you problems way out in the service. If your Ring has lost access to your Wi-Fi device, then you have no connection to see it on your phone. It can't get to the cell network. Actually, the cell network is not part of the Ring device. The cell network is your access to the internet. So when you're out at Walmart, Lay's, and you want to see somebody, your doorbell rings, that's the only portion that's cell, is that part connecting you to the internet. You're connecting your phone to the internet. Everything else is Wi-Fi in your house.
Okay, so when we come down to Mexico with our AT&T cell phone, I shouldn't be able to get my doorbell because it seems like it doesn't work, and I've tried it twice.
Well, I think this is a great example of what happens by bringing a number of different services together. Is it becomes very convoluted where the problem is when you have problems. In your case, with this AT&T phone, it would be an issue of you getting data on that service. If you're not getting data in Mexico, then you're not going to be able to use the cell network to see your cell phone, or to see your Ring, your doorbell. But if you were to go to a Wi-Fi hotspot with that cell phone, that would be getting data, so it would be able to use Ring and see the camera. So we've got a couple of different things going on here. You have to maintain your internet connection in your house. You got to maintain internet to that extender. The Ring doorbell needs to be connected to that extender. And then when you're outside the home, your coverage has to include data with your cell phone, or your cell phone has to be connected to a Wi-Fi access point. Does that help?
Right. Yeah, that helps because I have data on my phone all the time. So, but I know what happened because the extender, when the internet went down, the extender went down and it never came back up.
Yeah.
How come plug-in extenders don't come back up if the internet goes down?
It's
You have to
that's the reason I said I like your idea of a mesh network, because extender technology suffers from these kinds of problems all the time. It's just, I mean, that's kind of the nature of the beast. You buy an extender, you would buy it based on reviews saying this always comes back up, or every once in a while we lose power and the extender won't come back up. You had a problem with the mesh network a couple years ago, or at least a year ago, that the Orbi, and it had its own issue where Telmex, you're suffering because Telmex's system would fail at times. When what we learned about the Orbi, at least at that point in production, that model, if the internet hiccups, the Orbi won't come back on. And the only thing you can do is unplug it and plug it back in to get it back on. You remember you were having problems when you were in the country club with that.
Right, and I took the Orbi back, and I just went back to my old system.
Yeah, and the Orbi, I mean, to be fair, there's nothing wrong with the Orbi, except if there's something wrong with your internet provider. If your internet provider's flaky, what we found at that time was that particular product, it wouldn't recover. It had horrible recovery. And so if you're going to have crappy internet, you need equipment that can deal with recovery very easily. And so your extender is kind of that kind of thing. For some reason, your extender is not recovering. It's got a crappy recovery. In a perfect world, power comes back on, internet comes back on, your extender comes back on. I think that's where I would...
Well,
Go ahead, Linda, I'm sorry.
Well, my Amp Wireless always came back on. I never had a problem with it in San Carlos. It works fine, the one that I have out in the living room.
That extender.
But I got to tell you, you know that guy that stayed at my house?
Yes, yeah.
He messed with stuff. I got it all back working really good.
Well, yeah, well, I don't know if he doesn't know anything about computer. I actually was over there helping. But we had to set it all up again. Like, it was set up probably 3 times since you've been gone, in different configurations. And the real problem was Telmex. Their equipment was failing, and they were failing with customer service. I literally ran the modem over to Telmex and got one that didn't work. I ran it over to Telmex and got one that didn't work. It was on the 3rd time back that they finally gave them a modem that worked. It was...
Well, I also, when I got there, the TV was on the Telmex router and not on my extender. And I could see why he couldn't get, he was having problems with Netflix, because the Netflix was on the Telmex router and not on the extender.
Well, when I left, we had set up everything exactly the way you had it set up, but with the new Telmex modem that was working. Because the real problem...
Yeah, but the TV was trying to connect to the Telmex router, not the extender.
I understand.
So that's why he was...
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. That must have happened later, because that's not the way I left it connected.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was happy to be able to put everything back the way you had it, just with a new Telmex modem.
So the Eero mesh network should recover when the internet goes down?
Hold on, what was that, Judy?
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Linda.
Okay.
I was going to say something about your service.
So the Eero mesh network should recover when the internet goes down?
Well, they all should recover if the internet goes down. I mean, they all should. It's really a matter of the quality of the device. I think the Eeros are probably really dialed in by now. You know, they were bought by Amazon. They were doing firmware updates regularly when I was installing them. And after they were set up, they were very stable. And so I suspect they're good. Linda had sent me a link to a deal that's going on right now on Amazon that you can get the Euro, last year's Euro. It's a 3-pack with an Amazon Dot, a smart speaker.
Your screen is really blurry.
My screen is very blurry. Well, that's... And now it's gone. Let me try bringing up... I'm going to try presenting this again.
Back. It's back.
I'm trying to get in the habit of opening up this presentation mode. Can you see that screen now?
Blurry.
Give it a second. It's coming. It's coming. It's not coming. It's not coming, is it?
Now it's clear. Perfect.
There we go. Okay, good. Okay. So this is a nice deal for 2019 3-pack Wi-Fi mesh network, and they're giving you the Echo Dot for free. Hey, I don't know if you noticed that, but you save $100 for the package. I don't know if you want a smart speaker or not, but this one's tossed in for free with this deal. The one thing that I noticed about this, Linda, that I thought you might appreciate is that at this price, this particular unit is only a dual band. It's only a dual band Wi-Fi mesh network. What that means is that it only uses 2.4G and 5G. It does not use the third band, the 5.4G. It looks like to get the more up-to-date product, you would have to pay an additional $100 and not get the Dot. Now that said, I've worked with the product before this one, and I was very happy with it. I know that the older product, it came with a base station and 2 satellite nodes. And that product worked really well. It had only the 2... I guess what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give you my experience so that you can make an educated decision whether this is something you want to get into. I have not had anything... I've had only good experiences with this mesh network. I think they work great. I've installed 3 of them here in San Carlos with no issues, with cement walls, with rebar, and they were the older version of this. And they were obviously the dual band version of this. However, what's available on the market, the 2020 version of this is a tri-band version. What that means to us is a lot more opportunity to have great connections. It means a lot more opportunity to take advantage of the full bandwidth of your internet anywhere in the house. That means a lot less interference potential. And so if I didn't know the environment I was going into, I would recommend the newer product.
And is that 3rd generation?
I'm guessing it's 3rd generation Euro. Because I'm familiar with the 1st generation. Linda made me aware of this one. I hadn't paid attention to this one. And because I was looking at this one, I had to compare it and contrast with the others, and that's when I became aware that they were doing a tri-band version. In fact, we're still looking at my screen. I wonder if I can bring up the tri-band version here somewhere. Oh,
it's
here, yeah. There's the comparison.
Or something.
Yeah. No, in fact, it's $200 more for the tri-band version. They're calling it Pro. So it's the Euro Mesh or the Euro Pro Mesh.
That's a lot of money.
It is. It's a lot of money.
Too
much money.
Whatever that means.
I'm sorry, say that again?
That's with 2 beacons, but I'm looking on the Amazon site and there's an a Euro. I thought I saw 3rd generation someplace for a lot cheaper.
Well, maybe we're on even newer generation that we're looking here. Maybe this is a 4th generation. I'm just going off my own personal experience. It doesn't call itself. No, it doesn't call itself 1st, 2nd. I'm not seeing 1st, 2nd, or 3rd generation here. But there's somebody asked the question, is this the latest version? I think when you look at computers, you look at low, middle, high end, and they have different features in that respect. In the Euro, I think they've done the same thing. I think this is the latest version of the low end. If that makes sense.
Wow.
I like the price. I want to add a mesh network to my computer, to my house, and this meets all that criteria, and I like this price. Because I know my environment so well, I think I would feel comfortable buying this at this price. I'm not interested in paying an additional $200 or $300. Jesus.
I think I should stick with the $199.
The $199. I think, yeah. Maybe if it was a business, maybe if I knew, like I'm going into an environment where I know that hey, Cheryl's with us. Hey, Cheryl. If I was going into an environment that I knew there was a lot of interference, then I would probably do the Pro. Another thing is, if you're in the States and you're buying this equipment, because this is a US-based deal, well, I'm in the habit of buying stuff from Amazon, testing and seeing if it works and sending it back if it doesn't. So if you have that opportunity, I'd do that to save $200. I'd just buy the $199 version, see if it's going to do it for me, if I'm getting the bandwidth I want. If it's still suffering from interference, I'd send it back and make a decision of whether I should buy the $200 or the $399 version. I think
I'm going to buy this pack for $199.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you can get it back to Amazon within, I think it's 60 days, you'll get a full refund. I double check that. It's either 30 or 60 days, but the moment you have, another thing with Amazon, the moment that you start having problems with something is the moment you should report the problem. That way it's in their database from that date. So whether you decide to keep the product or not, at least they've got a record of when you started having problems with it. It makes it a lot easier than having to deal with a manufacturer. Amazon's really good with dealing with. In fact, I wanted to share an experience I had recently. I had my first package stolen here in Mexico.
Oh my.
And what it makes me aware of, it's a estafeta. I'm going to stop presenting right now. Let me turn that off. Turn off my screen. There we go. What are we looking at now? We're looking at sharing with me. Here we go. So I believe, and I've heard stories around town of packages being signed for by names that people don't recognize. This estafeta paqueteria, they're not doing a good job. They're either stealing the packages themselves, or they're just finding somebody that will sign for them and dropping them off. It's the first time I've had a package stolen in Mexico. It said it was delivered and had a name on it, but the signature card was blank. I immediately reported it to Amazon. They had me wait a couple of days, but they sent me an email saying that I had reported it. And what they were trying to call a estafeta to find out what's going on in Mexico. And they weren't open. The paqueteria is not open till Monday. So on Monday, they were trying to get a hold of them. I don't know how that went down, but what happened on my end was we're going to reimburse you all the money. We're going to try and send you the package. Unfortunately, they couldn't send me everything because, you know, the market changes so quickly on Amazon. They couldn't give me exactly what I ordered at the exact price. But they did refund all my money, and they sent me what they could. So here I am 2 weeks later, or a week later, and one of those packages, I have 2 other orders. One of those is from that. They haven't showed up either. And they're from the same paqueteria, Estafete. I think that they don't want to come to Guaymas. This time I got a notice saying they weren't able to deliver it. This is all, pardon me, but this is all horse shit around here. Nobody is leaving the house. My office is there. Somebody is there 24/7. They are not trying to deliver these packages. So this time I suspect because they got in trouble last time, they just said they tried to deliver it but weren't able to. Kind of like leaving a notice on your door saying we tried to deliver it, but we need a signature. But they never showed up. They never existed. And this is kind of frustrating because Amazon doesn't give you the ability to choose a delivery. You can't. DHL always shows up. Always. Nobody is telling bad stories about DHL in San Carlos. Everybody is telling bad stories about Estafeta right now. Those orders are going missing in this town. I'm sorry, go ahead. Somebody had something to add?
Yeah, it's Irving, Scott. I dropped them years ago. I sent an important item to the States.
Yes.
I paid probably quite a bit of money, and it never got delivered. And they wouldn't refuse the money. There was money either. It was probably $60 or $70. They wouldn't refund it. They didn't have a delivery. Believe it or not, it showed up 9 months later, but I couldn't get money back. I just dropped them.
Wow. Yeah, I think that if you're doing Amazon orders and this stuff is happening to you, you want to immediately get a hold of Amazon and let them know what's going on. Amazon is either going to keep refunding our packages or they're going to drop Estafeta from at least from this delivery area. What's frustrating is I kind of feel like it may be a new delivery guy or a whole new group of people doing deliveries because my office knows the Estafeta delivery guy by name. And so they know exactly where my office is. They've been delivering in the past for Amazon deliveries without a problem. This is new as of the quarantine. Where are we? Oh, anyway, that's just a side note because Linda's interested in buying this. It's an Amazon purchase. If I had the ability to buy this and test it and it worked all right, I'd keep it. And if not, I would send it back. Linda and I were talking earlier before we started the meeting. I'm so frustrated with my internet around here that I'm going to go with X Pro for a while. So I bought an antenna from Amazon, knowing full well that if it's not going to work for me, I'm just going to send it back to Amazon. But let's see if it even shows up. I wouldn't let Estafeta deliver it if I was Amazon.
But why wouldn't you just let Juan install his own antenna?
He just buys antennas. He told me to buy my own.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in fact, Juan, you might have missed it, Judy, earlier we were talking about, Juan is like me. He's not leaving his house. He's doing
he did, but
yeah, he's doing all remote work just like me.
Right. He had to go to his tower right before I left on the 28th. He had to go to his tower because mine clicked off again. But other than that, I've had no problems whatsoever.
Yeah, yeah. I think that I think that he can get me on remotely. We've been in talks. He's going to get me set up as soon as I've got the antenna, and we'll do some testing. And if it's gonna, my concern, if you guys haven't heard me voice it before, is his antenna is right on the property, right behind my house. So his antenna may be at an angle where my house is underneath it, and I can't get the signal very clearly. And I need an antenna to test that. So I'll get an antenna off of Amazon, and if it doesn't work, if I don't get the speeds, then I'll send it back and I'll bug him about some other solution. We could literally run a cable over there from my house, because we're that close. I can almost touch his antenna.
Can I ask a question that's not computer related? What is happening with the quarantines and everything? I keep reading that they're lifting everything.
Well, yeah, they are going forward opening without the sanctioning of the Sonoran government, while all our medical experts are telling us we're in the midst of the peak. The Eames Hospital has put out an announcement that they are at 75% or more capacity. They cannot take any more sick people. Please stop going out. Please wear masks. This is from Eames, because there are no more hospital beds for people. They need to maintain that 25% for other emergencies, like car accidents and shootings, which happen all the time around here. But right now, there's 75% capacity with COVID patients. The local government is turning a blind eye to Guaymas and San Carlos opening up. But it is not the official position of the Sonoran government.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where
Scott?
we're at. Oh, I don't know if you've been looking at Arizona news, but Arizona news has, I mean, they are the highest they've been.
Yes.
They're turning into the poster child for not reopening. And at the same time, they're still being let across the border into Mexico.
Scott?
Yes, Irving.
Yeah, I wanted to add something to your Amazon, because they're just an unbelievably fabulous way to buy. The biggest advantage to me with Amazon, besides their liberal return policy, is you don't have to repack stuff. They'll send you a slip, you bring it into UPS or wherever it's going to go, and they pack it.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, like
That's an incredible service.
You're talking about when you're returning something?
Yes.
Yeah. I used that when I was in the States because I didn't want to have to worry about being the reason that it was a problem sending it back. Yeah, it's well, the only thing that's unfortunate is it's allowed these billionaires to get even richer during this quarantine period. It's amazing to see, but it's the classic story. The poor people are getting poorer and the rich people are getting richer, and it's accelerated in both directions because of this quarantine.
You won't feel that way when you become a billionaire.
Yeah. Can you give me a timeline on that, Irving? I would probably feel differently if I was a billionaire. I would hope if I all of a sudden found myself as a billionaire, you guys can hold me to this, I'd take the first 100 million and just start distributing it among as many people as it's come into my life. I just start handing it out to people. Because, I mean, what's 1/10 of $1 billion to me? It's all, I think after the first million, it's inconceivable. My brain couldn't handle it.
Scott,
can I
I'll be very happy to help you with that.
Thank you, Mom.
By the way, I keep getting kicked off, and my computer has shut down 3 times.
That sounds like a computer issue, Mom. I wonder why it would be shutting down.
Don't tell me that.
Is your computer hot?
It's always hot, you know.
Well, you might be overheating.
It's an Apple with lots of photos on it.
Yeah, yeah.
But how? All right. Well, you can help me with that later.
Yeah, do you guys have cans of compressed air?
Yes.
Ask Dad. He might have a can of compressed air.
He's looking.
So, Scott, a question.
This
How
is a
do I
very
leave
important
this
thing to
in-
have in your arsenal of problem solving. Is a can of compressed air. I don't know if you guys can see that okay. So on a Mac.
Yeah.
On your Macintosh, Mom. I happen to have a Mac right here. This is a little tiny one. Doesn't need this service, but it's a good visual. The on your Mac, Mom, you have vents in between the hinge. If you guys can see this. And so you would blow air right into the upper right-hand corner here, and dust would be coming out of that fan. How's my visuals?
Well,
Can you guys see that stuff okay?
Your dad's looking, and as I look down there on my hinge, it's pretty dirty.
Yeah, I bet you've collected a bunch of dust inside that cooling fan.
All right. I'll shut off turn the mic off, and we'll give it a go, and I'll let you know.
Scott?
Yes, ma'am.
It's Judy. How do I leave the meeting?
How do you leave the meeting? Oh, just hit the red phone at the bottom.
Okay, I see that.
Are you guys out of here? It's 10:11. We hit some good topics. Is there anything else we want to add?
One more thing.
Please, Linda, go ahead.
Okay, I bought the Eero and it was an additional 20% off, so I got it for $169.
Wow, what was the additional 20% off for?
Well, I went to Aero, the store.aero.com.
Oh, all right. So it was like an instant coupon. It took you to Amazon to buy it though, right?
No.
Oh, you just bought it straight from them.
Right, and it's FedEx 2-day free shipping, no tax.
Did it include the Amazon Dot?
No, I don't care.
Yeah.
I've got another free Amazon Dot I haven't even taken out of the box. I have like 3 Amazons. I don't need another one. I don't care.
Right. You'd start giving them away as gifts. I got one with a Fire Stick TV. Just sitting here, just sitting in the box.
So Scott.
Yeah, you can give them.
On my TV, I bought a Roku. I bought a Roku Premiere.
Say that again?
And I bought a Roku Premiere.
Okay.
And I really like it. It works fine. I did not have to buy a new smart TV to get my Netflix and Amazon Prime TV or Amazon Video on my TV.
What an awesome solution.
It was an awesome solution.
You know what? You're reminding me. Here's something that I'll just throw out there. I'll put a link on the website. But Roku is doing this thing that they've done before. They are cutting off old equipment. And in this case, it's Hulu. If you're using the Hulu service on an older Roku device, on June 24th, it'll cease to work. So if any of you are still using an older Roku device, I'll put a link on the website so you can I'll try and bring it up now, but my internet's been moving kind of slow here as we've been talking. Yeah, they have a list of new Roku models supporting the latest Hulu app must be updated to firmware 8.1. So if you don't have version 8.1 or higher, you don't qualify for the Hulu app. We've gone through this with Netflix apps and YouTube apps as well. So the devices that must be updated are the Roku Ultra, Premiere, Premiere Plus. Is that what you just got, Judy? Is it Premiere?
Yep.
The Roku
Premiere.
Roku Express, Express 3, Express 2, or Roku 3, 4, 2, streaming sticks, Roku TV, and 4K Roku TV. Anything that doesn't support Roku OS 8.1 or higher is no longer compatible with Hulu. I would guess, I'm just going to guess, but because of my experience, I would guess that means it's not compatible with Netflix or YouTube as well. So that old Roku device you have is probably very pointless at this point. I've got a pointless Roku sitting in a bag in a box right now because it became pointless a long time ago. So I'm going to take that off of my list. And I'm going to mention this because I thought you guys would find it an interesting read. It's an article called Digital Tendency: Why You Don't Really Own Your Digital Life. And this is an article that's talking about how frustrating it is that we're living in a world now where you can be told that you have bought something digital, but you don't actually own it in any way that you're accustomed to. And I'll put this link on the website, but what it's talking about is, and what digital tendency is this tendency to accumulate digital items thinking that they're your property. And the best example of this is like in movies where you used to go to Walmart or Tower Records, you'd buy a DVD, it'd be in a box, you'd take the DVD home, you'd put it in a machine and watch it, you'd loan the DVD to friends so they could watch it. And now we don't do that. Now, if you wanted to own something, have ownership of something, you can still buy it. You can go to Amazon and you can find that movie and you can purchase it. But what you're not paying attention to is all the terms and conditions that go along with owning that item. And some of these terms and conditions include things like, if we shut down our service, we're not obligated to make sure you still have access to this item. So you purchase Snow White digitally on Amazon, and in the future, Amazon decides to kill or sell its Prime TV system, you may lose that movie. So that's just a rough example, but there are many other examples of this kind of stuff happening right now in our marketplace. And this digital tendency is an important thing for us to be thinking about. What is our purchasing power? How we value things? We've been doing these computer club meetings for almost 20 years. And all along we've talked about digital goods and what it means to own something. There are services out there that you can use for your purchases. I think it's called Watch Anywhere. I'll have to check on that name because I'm just pulling it out of my head. But there are services where you could buy your movie and they guarantee it's on all your different services. Disney was one of the best examples of that. You could buy Snow White through them and you were guaranteed to watch it on your Amazon service or your iTunes service or your Netflix service. Well, Netflix is a bad example. Maybe Walmart service. Because what they were selling you was access to that movie on all the different services it resided on.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, Stanley. Thanks for joining us.
Goodbye, Stanley.
So I'll put
Goodbye,
that link.
Irving.
If you're looking for information about this, I'll put that link on our website and you can read more about this. I think it's important as we go into the future that we're thinking about what digital goods are. If you're paying pennies or you're just paying for access, I mean, that's fine. I don't see a problem with that, in my opinion. If I'm looking at a digital copy of Star Wars and it costs me the same as a DVD, but there's a stipulation that it can be taken away from me at any moment because it's tied to the service I bought it from, I don't think I would want to buy it. I mean, I might rent it, but I don't think I would want to buy it. This is the equivalent of you have to buy all your stuff. You guys remember you had albums, and then cassettes came out, and you had to buy your albums on cassette, and then CDs came out, and you had to buy your albums on CD. This isn't necessarily the same thing. This would be more like you bought it on CD, but you're only able to use an Amazon CD player. And then Amazon decides to stop letting their CD players work because they're getting out of that business. And those are the only CD players your CD would work on. This is more like Betamax. I'm using that as...
Bye, guys.
Bye, Judy. Thanks for being here. So I find it a very interesting read, and it's going to shape our future as we move forward. So it's a good thing for us all to have our heads wrapped around because it's happening so quickly. I've hit the end of the topics I wanted to share. Does anybody have any last-minute things they'd like to make as part of what we're doing?
Yes.
Go ahead, Paul.
Scott, I do, but I don't know if anybody else is interested. I have an old laptop, HP, that I'm using right now. The video is fine, the audio is fine, but I tried to use my 1-year-old HP, and the video does not work. So I looked on the device manager, and there is no camera, no video listed in the device manager. So I called a concierge, and after waiting an hour, I talked to this fellow that helped me out very nicely, except he had reconfiguration of my computer.
Okay.
And he said, if it doesn't work, if you can't find the video on your device manager after that, we'll have to do a factory reset, he says, which takes hours and may or may not help. So now I'm situated with this computer that I've lost all personalization, all my apps and stuff like that. So I'm going to have to repersonalize. And I don't know if I want to go through the next iteration of factory reset. Because I could always buy an aftermarket attachment camera if I needed to.
Well, Paul, when you did the reset, I'm imagining you did the Windows refresh where it keeps your data, but puts Windows clean.
Correct.
So, did that solve the problem? I mean, do you have a camera now?
No, it didn't. I still can't use the camera, and I cannot find it on the device manager.
Okay, and let me.
So I'm thinking it may be a cold solder or something like that.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Is that there's something in your life? There's something physically wrong with that camera. And what I was gonna do is I was gonna bring up a window here. Because you should, if it's a software, if it's a driver issue, then you should be seeing an in conflict message somewhere. I was just dealing with one
It
myself.
says cannot find video camera.
That's what the software says, right? Can you see my screen?
Yes, it says cannot find camera. And it gives an error message number, you know.
So I'm trying to share my screen now. I hope you guys can see it.
I see a white screen.
A white screen. Anything now? Anything now? Still white?
Nope, nope. Yeah.
Still just a white screen.
That's really weird. No? Nothing? Screw it.
Nothing.
All right, I'm going to share it this way. Can you see something now?
I see a computer worker in a
beanie.
refrigerated room.
There we go. Okay,
Yes.
so this may not be as clear as far as it, but what I'm doing is I'm clicking on the start menu with my right mouse button and choosing device manager. You may be familiar with
I
device
changed
manager.
my beard. Yeah, yeah, that's what I've used. Yeah.
Okay. So then in the device manager, I wonder if I can create one of these messages because I was just dealing with this. Here we go. This is the thing that was giving me a problem. And here's a cable for it. Oh, but it's taking its own sweet time. Come on, device manager.
Huh.
I'm sure it's because I've got so much stuff going on. So what you're looking for is under imaging devices. You should see your camera
I'll tell you
listed
something. Yeah. Okay. There is a camera listed, but it is the label of it or the name of it implies to me that it's from a printer scanner because it says inkjet.
there. Yeah, it could be. In fact, if you can make out what my screen says, it's got one of my printers in there, the MG 2900.
Yeah, well, that's the only thing I have. And when I looked on this old computer, it lists a video camera, or a camera.
So I'm
Doesn't
plugging
say.
in a phone that I'm having trouble with on my computer right now. Watch it work this time. No, good. Okay, and now under Universal Serial Bus Controllers, there's unknown USB device. Device descriptor request failed. So this is that's the failed device connected. So in your device manager, do you have anything like that?
What what was the name that you expanded?
Well, I would look under USB, the Universal
USB.
Serial Bus Controller. I didn't have to expand it. That's the thing, is if there's an error in it, it expands itself. So if you go into Device Manager, you should be able to see a flag on something that's not, that doesn't have the correct driver.
Oh, really? Okay. Because there's a label for video gaming and stuff like that down near the bottom, and it didn't have it in there too.
Yeah, you look for something that has like a yellow triangle on it.
Okay.
Do you see anything there?
Well, I'm not using it.
You're not using it right now, but yeah, look for that. And then what you can try doing is you can try deleting that if it exists.
Yeah.
And
so answer me this.
Yeah.
If I take my mobile device, which we call cell phones, and plug it hardwired into the computer, can I use the camera on the cell phone?
No. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. But I suspect, how new is your computer? Is it still under warranty? Because I would bug HP to fix it.
I bugged Costco because they extend the warranty. The warranty was up in May, but Costco still helps me,
Did you report this as a problem in May?
No, I didn't.
Bummer.
Because
Yeah.
it was just or not 2 weeks ago when I tried to log in on your meeting that I found out that the camera doesn't work.
Does let me think for a moment. I had another thought, but somehow I lost it.
It happens. You're just
Yeah.
getting old.
Thank you. Last week I celebrated my 50th birthday.
Yeah, well, in November I'll be 80. So.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Well, I would never have guessed that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, it looks like you and
That's why I'm not going out of my house.
It looks like you and Irving are the only ones left with me, and we're at the end of our meeting. It looks like Irving must have had to go off to do something.
Yeah. So anyway,
I'm here, Scott.
All right.
like I say, I can get an aftermarket and not worry about screwing my computer up by doing a factory reset.
Yeah, I'm guessing your computer's an HP, is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Pavilion.
Such a frustrating company.
Yeah.
They have great customer support. I mean, if you've been dealing with them, they answer the phone. You're normally talking to a human in less than 5 minutes.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they've had great customer support for a long time, but they have not had great products for a long time.
Well, unfortunately, that we shop at Costco, and that's what Costco features.
Yeah.
HP.
Well, and I have to say that I feel like the bar has lowered throughout the PC industry. So it's not that they've actually gotten better. They've just, the lowest common denominator is what the PC market's running at right now.
Yeah.
I guess I'll sign off. We'll call it an end. Irving, did you have something?
Before you do, Scott, yeah, two things. I'm going to send you my email addresses because I'm not getting the notices. I had to get Linda to send me the link.
Hey,
and the second thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Second thing is, I want to avail of the service you have with the viewer. I can configure. I want to get all my emails configured properly. I have problems configuring Prodigy. I think I know my email address. I get it on 2 or 3 of my devices, and I want to get it on my iPhone.
Okay.
The other thing I'd like to research, and then maybe you know something about, is what is the latest and the greatest Wi-Fi extender? Because I'm leaving for Alaska tomorrow, and I'll be using the campground's Wi-Fi. And I had one that worked okay, but if there's something faster, better, or something, I want it.
I don't know what kind of recommendation I have for that. Most of the Wi-Fi extenders that I've recommended have been Netgear, and it's because
I had Netgear. I'm describing the wrong product. I want a Wi-Fi booster.
Yeah.
I had one. It works.
Booster is. Essentially, we're talking about the same product. When you say extender or booster, what you're trying to do is you're trying to give it more length. You can get farther away, and you're looking for one that has the highest quality version of that.
What I'm trying to do is take the campground
Wi-Fi
signal and amplify it.
Yeah. And
from there, yeah.
What you might, if you're having problems with it, if the Netgear isn't working for you, you might be looking for more like an antenna that's directional, that you could put on the outside of the camper. And
all right, it's just it's a vague question. I'm all right. Last year I was going all right. I just thought that's something you might know. But anyway,
I was just getting to a recommendation, Irving. There is a number of Ubiquity products.
Ubiquity?
Ubiquity. They're the ones that I'm buying this antenna for Juan, but they've got traditional Wi-Fi products as well. And they sell, I mean, they've got really good reputation of selling long distance Wi-Fi antennas. And
I'll
what,
look them up.
yeah, what that would be is like a dish, like a directional antenna that you could stick on the side of your camper and point at the main router. Point it up there. And run it inside and maybe have your own router inside, that it would provide your Wi-Fi pocket in your camper, but it's getting internet through that antenna outside the camper.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's
So I'll be needing you to, if you can, I'll be needing you to configure on my phone, my Prodigy. I looked it up online. I try to follow the rules. I just don't think I can do it.
Are you
And
are
I
you in a
email.
hurry to get it done? Could we schedule it for Monday? Would that
No,
work?
I'm going to contact you. We're flying to Alaska tomorrow. I'll
Okay.
have to set up all my junk up there. So I'll call you as soon as I can
Yeah.
and try to do that.
Yeah, and before you get off with me right now, let's just make sure. Oh, in fact, let me shut this down. You stay right there, and let me just turn this off. This has been
Okay.
the San Carlos Computer Club, and I would like to look at a camera as I'm talking to it. That's definitely not the right camera. There we go. This has been the San Carlos Computer Club. I am Scott Stimson from International Computer Solutions, and if you need computer assistant anywhere in the internet, I'd appreciate you getting a hold of me. You can contact me directly through email, scott@internationalcs.net. If you've enjoyed this computer club meeting and you're interested in others, you're welcome to join us on Saturdays at 9 a.m. That's Arizona Mountain Standard Time, or Sonoran Time if you're in Mexico. And you can also check out our website, where I will post links to the stuff I'm talking about and links to meetings through YouTube. And you can do all that at scclub.org. Thanks again for being here with us. And until next Saturday, tech on. And we'll stop this and stop.